Hi, this is Russell from Low Fruit Solutions, and today I'm going to be talking about blogging in Shopify, and specifically why blogging is important as a store owner, and then the fundamentals or the standard practices that you can do to set up your blog so that you can set yourself up for success in the future. So on to the first question: why blogging is important. I'll tell you why blogging is important. Essentially, there are two audience types that you're appealing to with your content, right? Your blogs, etc. One are humans, and two are robots. Right now, if you think about that at all times when you're managing your content, then you'll do fine. Looking at the first group, if you will, humans. Now, there are lots of competition. There's lots of competition out in the internet. In e-commerce, a lot of people selling the same products at roughly the same price, or even at slightly different price differentiation. So what makes you stand out? What makes you different to the person next to you? Essentially, it's your story, your brand identity that will get you over the line over a competitor with the same price. And blogging enables you to project to that audience your story. To basically strengthen your brand identity, provide subject matter expertise, and a view of authority, which in turn creates trust. And trust is something our buyers want from us. So having blogs for people is a very, very good idea. Now, the other portion of the audience are search engines. Right now, search engines like blogs too, and not because they enjoy reading them, but because the content all adds into the algorithm that determines where you fit in search engine rankings for specific keywords, right? And so by creating blogs, you effectively extend your content, because if you create a product and that product A has X amount of words in its description, images, and so forth, that's the end of it. You've created that product. Now, how do you extend that? How do you extend your authoritativeness or your keyword density without just creating longer descriptions? Well, you would create, you could build blogs associated to that subject, to provide that. So search engines, when they look at you, the number of keyword density and content type, and it'll enhance your actual store's weight or gravitas. So investing in content, right now I've written this down here, investing in content is an investment in long-term traffic creation and retention. So by creating content, you gather more traffic via search engines, because the weight of it adds to your overall SEO, and by doing that you draw more people to your store, to your site, and then that content, assuming it's of a good quality, will also then ensure there is longer term retention and ultimately loyalty, which should in turn lead to greater revenue down the track. So content is king, there's no doubt about it. So let's go over and have a look at what a blog looks like in Shopify. So here's my demo store. Now, to find blogs, you would look into the online store here, and you'll see it's aptly named blog posts, which is a bit of an anomaly to some degree, right? Because in Shopify, you have blogs, which are in essence a collection of articles. That's how it's defined on the back end, but they term them posts here. Now, what you want to do before you do anything, so I've got you can see a number of blog posts / articles here, is if you go to manage blogs, this is where you will see your actual collection of articles, right? The name of it. Now, all new stores get one called news, which is a bit generic, a bit nothing. What you want to do is go into this manage blogs, and you want to click on it, right? And you probably first thing you want to do is change the title. Now, why would you do that? Well, let's go back to the store here, the demo store, and scroll down to one of these articles, the health benefits of pineapples. And what you're going to see in the URL is you're going to see your store, and then you're going to see blogs, and then you're going to see this. Now, having this as news, that doesn't really add much to your SEO at all, right? So you can get a little gain there straight away by actually having something that's relative to what you're trying to sell or project within that path, right? It'll add weight to it. So having news there is it's a bit too generic. I would change it to something that's more relative. Now, when you do change it, besides changing the title here, what you also need to do is also click on this button here. You go Edit SEO. The page title will come default from the blog name, but you should also update this meta description, because this is what is going to show in the search engines if people are actually, your blog comes up in that list. And you kind of is also another area where you can add a little bit of weighting into your content by making sure you project the right number of keywords or phrases, etc. Right, and there's plenty of articles around SEO on that. So I've just added the fact that it's a definitive guide to best and fresh fruit, a review of the best fruit, tropical fruit, organic fruit, and seasonal fruits. Right, so you've got a 160 character limit. You shouldn't really extend it. You should just try to keep this short and poignant, but so that people understand what they're looking at. To the right here is how you handle comments. Now, this is via Shopify's native comment system. If you are using an alternative, like a third party, then you wouldn't really care about how this is done. In this case, it depends. I actually think it's worthwhile having commentary enabled, because you do want people to interact with you. When people interact with your content, they're more engaged. There's no doubt about it, right? So having comments are disabled, fine. That's if you won't get any trolling or anything like that, but you're limiting that interaction for people to ask questions, which a good blog should actually ask a question. But you may want to not go for just allow anyone to comment and publish, because you'll probably end up with a lot of spam. So pending moderation is a good call. So let's go back. Right, let's go back. Now we're going to have a look at our articles within this blog. Oh, there we go. We're going to go back one more. And we're going to look at that one I was just looking at. Right, so these are the key elements within your article. You've got your title. Again, you want to include something that's relative to the content and overall your store to a degree. So in this case, I put health benefits of pineapples, because people may be interested in that specifically when searching. So it's a direct keyword, like a long keyword string. We've got visibility. If it's hidden, it's not going to be visible to any of your readers. And then what we've got here is some basic content. I put an image in here. Now, when you put images into your blogs, what you want to do is you want to put generally at reasonably high res, have them sized, and then you want to set the image size here. And there's a good reason for this. The reason is that when you upload an image into Shopify CDN, it'll save it off into a number of different sizes so that it can call them back as they are required in the size that is required. So you can put a high-res image there, and then you can downsize it or choose whatever size you want, right? But it won't overburden the payload. In other words, it won't make your page slower if you set the sizing correctly, because it'll pull back the right one. Alt text is also important. Again, from if you're not using, in my case here, I'm using it to display image captions. But if you think about it from the robot audience, then it's relative, because alt text, while hidden to the human, is not hidden to the robot. So your search engines will be crawling that and be looking at text strings. Now, there's a whole bunch of articles on SEO for text, for alt text strings, so I'm not going to go into that. But in this case, I'm using it as an informative portion for the human audience as well. So I'm just going to cancel the editing of that. Now, just another quick pointer is that your images, when you upload them, should also include, but for the robot audience, some descriptive text. In this case, probably the store name, article, and then something relative to the image itself, so that again it adds more to the robot view. So I've got a couple of images in here. Now you always want to put a featured image on your articles, unless that's not fitting in with your theme, because ultimately humans are visual creatures. and we are drawn to imagery probably more than text to a large degree, because we, tell a great, as I say, a picture tells a story of 1,000 words as opposed to the other way. Now, featured image, you also want to do the same piece. You definitely want to add an image alt text to your featured image, and because that, again, it's good for the robotic audience, which is good for search engines. Here we have author, and this is the blog, so we can change all these things. Now, what's also quite key is a little side piece here, tags. Now, you can see I've got a number of tags in here. Tags are a way of categorizing your article content, so that if you display tags on your store, someone who's interested in, has just read an article, sees the tag called vitamin C, can click on vitamin C, and then all other articles related to vitamin C will be displayed in their search. Likewise, if you're using any sort of app or product that displays related articles that uses tags, then having this filled in makes sense. There's no real downside to having a lot of tags. Obviously, just ensure they are meaningful to the content. I think that's really the key at all times. Now, SEO, edit the web SEO. You're not going to really have to do too much here. It'll take, unless you don't like what the content is, it'll take the top end of the article, likewise for the title. And the handle you can modify a little bit, but you can only modify from the article name down. So the rest of the URL remains the same, right? And that is the sort of core portion to your image, right? You have your article setup. There's a number of little formatting options here for when you put the actual content in, and if you need to see what the actual HTML looks like, you can click on this and it'll show you, because that's all it is really. It's just an HTML blob or string, if you will, that then is reconstituted and displayed as your blog article. So let's have a look at what if you're appealing to the human side, right? So we've talked a little bit about the robot side. Here is that very much that article. As you can see, the nice little high-res featured image here, which is quite catching. We've got, it's nicely set up. We've got image captions, the ones I was displaying here. We have, social network sharing options on the images of Pinterest, so they could pin that to Pinterest. Likewise, you could do yourself. We have some sharing options here, where we can share to Facebook, to Twitter. We have a product offering which is related to the content itself, and we scroll down a little bit of author detail here, and an opportunity to then jump from this article into another article of relevant content. So this is quite a well put together. If I was reading it, it's engaging, obviously outside of the text content itself, but it looks good. And that's when you're doing things for humans, aesthetically they should be pleasing, right? So you should try to do the styling, etc. Robots don't care about the aesthetics; they care about the text, and that's the real way to put it. So if you focus on delivering to both audiences within the articles you create, then you can't go wrong. And going back to why content is an investment and why you should make sure you do blog articles is, while you can pay to do AdWords, to do promotions, etc. for your store, those are one-time events. Creating content that is then indexed and added to and grows, etc. over time is what will bring you down will get you to that point of the holy grail of organic traffic, which means non-paid for traffic, which is what all store owners should be aiming for ultimately, is to have a loyal base of organic traffic. And that's blogging in Shopify. I hope you found that useful, and any questions, etc., please reach out to us either via the YouTube channel or our article or our support options on our website. And thank you very much for watching.